Okay. All right.
I will start with kind of the reasons why you would want to divide a perennial, and there's basically three reasons. The plant's getting too big. The inside of the plant, once it gets too big, will die out and kind of make that donut effect. You see it typically on grasses where the center will die out and as the plant creeps out. And you can do a couple things to do that. Just divide it and restart it, or refill the middle with new grass. The plant's getting too big, and just the health, the disease of the plant is going downhill. Fewer blooms. The larger the plant gets, fewer blooms it will have. And just wrong place, is one of the reasons. Here's a few tools, before you get started that definitely will need. Everybody needs a good spade. This is probably one of the best. Good handle, and then you want a nice sharp blade to it.
Can you sharpen those things? Can you take it to a knife place and have that sharpened?
You definitely can. Yeah, one place I used to work, you sharpen them every day.
Really?
Yeah, we wear them out
What
during
do
the
they
day.
cost? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Here's another great item is the knife. And we use it here ourselves, and it's great for digging, cutting. You can tear through plants on one side, and it's got more of a blade on the other side, and it's one of the main items. Of course, then pruners. And we got some pruners at some pretty good prices in there. The printer's great, and then just the scissors. It just kind of depends on what you're printing, how big it is, what to cut. Also gloves. Gloves are great. Keep your hands clean. And then we've got a product called Guard Barrier, and this is just a gel. You just put on the hands and rub them in. You kind of scrape it so you can get them underneath your fingernails, and you don't get as much dirt under your nails later, and your cuticles and everything. So it's great. Gives you a little bit of oil to start with, but rub it in, let it dry before you get going, or the dirt's going to stick to you. Get a bucket with a bleach water solution, and that is to, between plants, if you're going from one to another, dip, and just make sure you're cleaning, because you can easily spread disease from one plant to another. And then once you get to restart the plant, I've got a couple of different products to use as work starters. The new plant, you're giving it a little bit of stress, cutting it. So this will have the microbes and mycorrhizae, everything to get the new plant going. A little bit of fertilizer in there. We'll start trying to have a whole selection of plants to divide. So we'll start. Let's start with an easy one. This is a daylily. So about this time of year, this is what you're seeing. They're starting to wake up. We're getting a little bit of growth to them. And if anybody wants to get their hands dirty and mess with it, they're more than welcome. Kind of the idea with the daylily is to start knocking the dirt off. And I've got one that I've started knocking some dirt off of it. And you get down to the main plant and the number of fans. It's a pretty good one. It's probably time on this guy to split. But you just start knocking as much dirt off you can all the way around. You get the good roots showing. You're going to break some roots off. It's going to be fine. But the more you start digging into it, the more they actually start kind of separating themselves. You could leave it as that, which is a pretty good one to restart, or you can even split them further. And kind of with, as you're splitting, you want to watch, we've got some fungus, some mold on these roots. You see the white, and then those are ones that are old roots. You'd want to, with pruners or to hands, just take out some of those old ones. If they get mushy, clean it up a little bit.
Did you put any chloride water then?
That you definitely can, you bet. If you're cutting into the root, and really making some nice fresh cuts, dip them in that, keeps it clean. This is just water on this side. But this is great if you're going to store it for a while. You'd get it down to this and put it in some sphagnum moss, a little bit of moist sphagnum moss, and you could hold this for quite a while in a cool cellar basement. But very easy to do if some people want to, repot them or anything. You just want to watch as you're taking them out, replant them the same depth as what you've taken it out from. So in a pot, it's that easy. So if anybody wants to give a shot, they're easy. They just kind of fall apart. You could probably get 20 or so new cuttings out of that. So that's one.
How close would you plant those together? Like if we were going to put them back in a spot? I mean,
I'd probably go 3 feet on it. Yeah.
Really? For that little one, you give it 3 feet?
Because the clump is going. If you give it less than that, you're going to have to divide it again in a couple of years. So let it give some space to start growing. But yeah, these guys are.
Is that a clump type daylily, or is that just kind of one of those invasive spreading type daylilies?
It's a clump form, but yeah, the clump gets bigger each year.
Gets bigger.
Yeah. So in time it would get too big, but very easy to do. Another one that is a good one that spreads, and this is one that we just took out of the overwintered house. So you're probably seeing it this time this time of year, and we're starting to get a little bit of new growth on the bottom, and that's about what you should see. But this is one, before you start cutting it, this is a yarrow. So you'll recognize it by the smell. It's pretty strong. But you'd want to minimize any stress on the plant, take all the old growth off. And then this one's pretty easy too. But you see all the roots and everything going around it, it's ready to be split. But this is one that you can definitely, you don't have to be gentle with it. There's 3 new plants there. And then, easy with this would be to, I'm just going to take off some of the bottom soil just to freshen it up some, spread the roots out a bit. And that's another one that you just want to replant it at the same height you had it at. And it's ready to go. Let's see, after that one.